There's a moment. You know the one. It's 2:47 on a Tuesday. Your inbox is full. The commute was brutal. And something about the fluorescent lighting overhead feels personally aggressive. And for just a second, your mind goes somewhere else. Somewhere warm. Somewhere the drinks have little umbrella and nobody has a deadline. That impulse, the desperate, delicious urge to be somewhere else, is as old as human consciousness. But nobody ever turned it into a lifestyle quite like Jimmy Buffett. James William Buffett was born in 1946 in Pascagoula, Mississippi. Not exactly paradise. He kicked around Nashville in the late 60s trying to make it as a country singer. Failed, nearly broke, and drove south. South until the road ran out. South until he hit Key West, Florida, where the rent was cheap, the rum was plentiful, and ambition felt a little embarrassing. What he found there wasn't just a place, it was a philosophy. In 1977, he released Changes in Latitudes, Changes in Attitudes, and with it, a song so perfectly engineered for the human need to escape that it became something bigger than a hit. Margaritaville wasn't just a song, it was a destination. But here's what's interesting. Margaritaville isn't actually a happy song. The narrator is broke, sunburned, nursing a mysterious foot injury, and blaming a woman, then himself, for getting here. It's a song about a man who escaped, and has no idea what to do now that he has. That tension is the whole thing. That's the essay. Psychologists define escapism as the tendency to seek distraction from unpleasant realities through entertainment or fantasy. It gets a bad reputation. We treat it as avoidance, as weakness, as the refuge of people who can't cope. But that framing misses something. That is where Jimmy Buffett understood something that most pop philosophers miss. He didn't just sell a fantasy. He sold a geography of the mind, a specific, sensory, inhabitable place, the smell of salt air, the weight of humidity, the particular amber color of a drink you're not supposed to be having at this hour. Buffett gave escapism an address. And something remarkable happened. People moved in. They called themselves parrot heads. They showed up to concerts in grass skirts and inflatable sharks. They built a community around a shared imaginatory place, which at some point stopped being imaginatory at all. Consider what the parrot head phenomenon actually is. These are mostly middle-aged, mostly working-class Americans, accountants, nurses, construction workers, teachers, people with real heavy lives, and twice a year, or once a summer, they transform. The wine shirts come out, the blenders come out, the persona of the carefree beach bum descends. This is carnival logic, ancient and human. The festival is temporary inversion of the social order. The accountant becomes the pirate, the cubicle disappears, the hierarchy flattens. Buffett concerts were just a show. They were rituals. And rituals, even secular ones, do something important. They mark time. They give the ordinary calendar a sacred interruption. They say this moment is different. This moment is allowed. The philosopher Joseph Pieper wrote that leisure is not the absence of work. It's the affirmation of something beyond work. Buffett, in his way, was making a theological argument that the margarita, the sunset, the bare feet in the sand, these are not the escapes from life. They are the point of life. The work week is the interruption. The beach is the truth. Of course, the story doesn't end at the beach. By the time Buffett died in September 2023, Margaritaville had become a billion-dollar brand. Hotels, retirement communities, frozen food lines, a Broadway musical. The escape had been packaged, monetized, and sold back to the people who needed it most, at resort prices. There's something almost too on the nose about a Margaritaville retirement community. Escapism institutionalized. The fantasy, gated and HOA managed. But maybe that's not a betrayal of the vision. Maybe that's just what happens when a dream gets popular. The Beat Generation had its coffee shops commodified. Woodstock had its anniversary concerts. Every genuine countercultural impulse eventually gets a gift shop. And yet the song still works. Put on Margaritaville at 7 p.m. on a Friday, and something happens in the room. The brand didn't kill the feeling. The feeling is apparently indestructible. Jimmy Buffett sold escape, but the more honest reading of his work is that he was selling permission. Permission to rest. Permission to be ridiculous. Permission to decide, for a moment, that the horizon matters more than the inbox. The Margaritaville narrator is lost, broke, and sunburnt, but he's there. He made it to the edge of the world, even if he doesn't quite know what to do with it. Most of us will never live on a sailboat. Most of us will never be Jimmy Buffett. But most of us have, at some point, felt the particular relief of imagining a place where the light is different, the pace is slower, and the drink in your hand is cold. That place is real. It always has been. It's just that most of us can only visit.